Hey guys, Brent and welcome to another Mailman's Postie Adventures. This is episode 4 in the Outback Mike series. If you missed the others, make sure you click the link below and check them out. In this episode, I managed to interview Outback Mike as he starts his epic adventure and tries to make it through the Queensland border before everything got shut down due to the latest COVID-19 outbreak here in Australia. I found out what he's been up to since we last spoke, all the changes he's made to his canoe with all the testing he's done. And then make sure you stick around till the end, where I'm about to go over to my friend Harlan's house and we can find out where Outback Mike is right now. Let's get into it. Hey guys, Brent Mail here. People call me the Mailman. I'm a pro photographer traveling around Australia on my little Postie bike, finding interesting people who are passionate about what they're doing and telling their stories through my lens. So buckle up and join me on my Postie adventures into the unknown. I've got Mike, Outback Mike, on the other line here. He's already gone off on his journey. He started his adventure and I've been trying to catch up with him for a while now, but he's been super busy getting everything ready. But I got him on the phone, so I just wanted to ask him a couple of questions and find out where he's been since we last spoke and what's happened. So Mike, since we last spoke and since the last time I filmed you was the first test when you went out sailing for the very first time. I know a lot's happened then. Can you give me the quick highlights of what you've done and what you've achieved since then?
So the test went well. There's a bunch of factors, about 5 factors that went against me. Current, wind shift, a bit of equipment failure and stuff. And it turns out I ended up needing a tow in through the heads, which I made an early call because I knew the water police were out and about and they'd been around me earlier in the day, just interested in what I was doing and taking photos anyway. So I've got a good relationship with them, and I just said, hey guys, any chance you could just give me a quick tow now rather than having to possibly call for one later on at night. So that made me feel bad because I sort of requested some assistance there, which sort of made me realise I think I was pushing too much down the authenticity route as far as not having enough kind of modern stuff, and more so that, if I could just get 5 factors going wrong here when I'm testing it deliberately in a safer area down south where it's more populated, I don't want to come up against that when I'm further out in the Barrier Reef and then be requesting assistance out there. So basically I've now fitted an electric engine. It's just a short backup one. It only has an hour of battery life, but it's just enough that it can help me if I'm just about to get washed up on a reef or something like that, which just makes me more likely to need to request assistance. Even though I've got mitigations in place for that anyway, it just means that I'm less likely to have to request assistance. So I've got an engine. It's just a small little one. It won't be used much at all. The battery that I'm using for that is a larger capacity than the one I was going to bring. So it means that I can really relax when it comes to shooting as many drone batteries or charging as many cameras as I like. So it's got a real benefit there for the filming aspect as well. So that's all good. So basically that test, I went back, made a bunch of different refinements and did another test where I sailed for a 2-night camping trip and practiced sleeping aboard the canoe, and then also camping ashore and getting all the stuff ashore. Got a bunch of media shots as well, which worked out well. Ended up getting a primetime TV interview about the expedition, and I've got another one logged or planned by one of the major networks for when I launch from Townsville. And that's sort of what I'm doing at the moment. So I've just started my journey north to Townsville. It's going to take 4 days. It's about 3,000 kilometres or something. As you know, COVID's just kicked off in Sydney, and the Queensland border is I'm really worried it's going to close. So I've shovelled off really as quickly as I can, a little bit rushed, but I want to get across the border tonight before it closes. So I'm just staying at my sister's place. I stayed there last night. I've actually just done a grease and oil change on the car, which is why the bonnet was up. And I'm going to go collect some native ginger now and a couple other little bush tucker things, and then keep going basically.
You've done quite a few mods to your canoe since I last saw you. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos. Can you tell me a little bit more about those?
Sure. Okay, I'll just start from the front then. So basically I built up the bow another 2 planks. That's just to allow less water over the front depending on the seas. I've see these little holes everywhere. I've put small holes like that all over the place, and I've got a 3-meter pole, extendable GoPro pole, so pretty much any angle around the canoe I'm covered now. I can extend out and get some pretty awesome shots. I've sharpened the edges on the canoes just so it's more streamlined in the water. I replaced every single one of these stakes, which is a huge job because I just felt that they weren't quite thick enough. It's just sort of a gut feel more than anything else. I've got spare mast. These are some spear holders, so my really sharp spear tips can fit in there. All of the lashings and stuff here, I've strengthened, redone, and then waxed over it. So just a lot of strengthening type things. This is the mount for the engine. It's hard to see here, but basically it's just a tubed steel that goes through with a couple of bolts. So that's the engine just can sit on there, which is nice. I've chopped off that little bit that was sticking out there. Thought it might be needed for something. So basically there's a lot of adjustments that I waited till the very last minute, because once you chop something off, you can't put it back again. You can see more of the GoPro holes here. I reckon there's probably 200 holes. Most of them I've tried to not put in the actual hull. I've put in removable stuff so later on it doesn't sort of ruin the canoe. I've smoothed this off. I've added, I've waxed the rudder attachments. I've strengthened the rudder in many different ways and made so it can hinge forward and hook onto stuff more easily. Quite a few refinements, and a lot of them I could probably get away with not doing them. But when there's so many different factors, you really got to, by doing lots of little things, it makes the overall chance of success a lot higher.
Yeah, it sounds like you've done quite a lot, and I know you've been working really hard. That's why we haven't been able to catch up, and I've also been quite busy with my photography workshop and all that, but I'm so glad you're on the road right now. Tell me, Mike, how does it make you feel to, have been working on this for a year, planning it for like 2 years, and now you finally almost at the start of your adventure where you take off? How does it make you feel?
Well, it's kind of good. I pretty much leave emotion out of it because it's not particularly useful unless it's sort of given you a gut feeling about something that you haven't particularly planned well. But I must admit at the moment I am, because so much prep has gone in, I feel like I really have just done enough that if it all goes wrong, I can say, well, I did prepare enough. I haven't left too much to chance in that regard. So there's a fair bit of positive anticipation, but with survival things like this, as soon as you start from day one, often you can just tip straight into, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? This sucks. I'm not going to eat anything decent for 3 months. And, it's so dangerous. And straight away, all you care about is safety. And you just wish that you're in a safe environment, wish that you're just in normal civilization without worrying that you're going to die every day, basically. That particularly the case when the wind pops up. The winds are blowing really strong at the moment, which is sort of good because I want them to blow all out, so when I get there it won't be quite so strong. So it is nice though, driving up, because it's taken such a long point to get to this point, and I'm finally driving up. All of that prep work is down behind me, and I can really focus on this expedition.
Just like almost 7 days a week, right? You've only taken a few little breaks along the way. It's just, you've just constantly been working on it.
Yeah, I haven't had a day off since last year. It's now mid-year. I've probably had about maybe 3 days off in a year and a half. So I'm working on a passion though. So the main thing I don't like about that is I wanted to do more camping with the kids. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing when I get back. I'll just point out quickly, this is a rooftop tent, which I've just bought secondhand as a last minute thing. So this is what I'm going to camp in on the way up, and then when I'm prepping the canoe, and also when I pick up the canoe right at the end and drive it back south. I don't really need it for this trip, but this is when I've finished the film. I'm going to tour around the east coast of Australia, and that's going to be my accommodation. I basically sleep in there, go to a new venue, blow up a projector, and then do a talk and a video and a film with the canoe right there, and then pack it all up, go to the next place the following day. So the rig is sort of looking like it, hopefully how it will be when I'm touring in about 6 months to a year's time.
No, for sure. Hey, how are you getting back? Once you make it, let's hope you do make it, I'm sure you will. Yeah. But once you get up to the top of Australia, how are you going to get back to your car?
Right on the tip of Cape York, there's a town called Thursday Island, and there's a barge that goes from there back down to Cairns, which is about 1,200 k's. So I'll put the canoe on there, and then I'll fly to Cairns, and then hitchhike down to Townsville, pick up the car, and then hopefully meet the barge and pick it up, and then drive my way south. So yeah, after all the work I've put in, I really want to have this thing at the end. It'll be a real shame if it doesn't make it for whatever reason. But if it does, that's what its purpose is for, though. So, I'll be able to handle it if it does go south. Yeah.
Good luck with the trip. Break a leg. Don't get eaten by any reptiles or fish. And if people want to follow your trip, along the way, are you going to be off the grid all the time, or?
Yeah, I might do a couple of social media posts just in the first few weeks, just because there happens to be a little bit of phone coverage there. But yeah, people can certainly, if they just Google Outback Mike and go to my website, I'm listing all the media stories that come on as well. So I know I'm going to have one of the major channels covering the departure on live TV as well. So all those little links will be in there.
But yeah, I just want to wish you the best of luck, Mike, and I'll put all the links for Outback Mike below this video, so click on them and go to his website and follow him along on the way. So thanks so much for talking to me, Mike.
No worries. Thanks, Brent.
Hey, beer time.
We are not in Sydney, we're not in one of the COVID outbreak hotspots, so we are allowed to visit friends. We've got to wear these damn things all the time, unless you're sitting down and drinking. So cheers. So where is Mike right now?
I'm only getting satellite pings once a day. Last ping we had, he's 50 kilometers north of Cooktown on a little almost desert island at the moment. So really, back out surviving right in the barrier reef. It's looking pretty exciting.
In one of his social media accounts, he was talking about just wanting to sleep all the time, and I think that's part of like going into starvation. When you haven't had a lot of food for a while, you just get really tired and unmotivated to do anything. So that's a little bit worrying. So I'm glad he's actually got to a place where he can catch some food. Maybe the Aboriginal elders where he is can share some of their bush tucker with him and fatten him up for the next part of his voyage.
This is the easy bit where he is in the mainland a little bit on occasions, but the next section now is really tough. So he's going to be, really out of touch. No communications. We'll only get the satellite ping once a day. If we don't hear from him, we will worry, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I think it's going to be a tough one. So he'll be really living off the land and bush tucker and really trying to survive. So it's going to be a tough.
Yeah, because the section that he's going to now is very unpopulated. There's not too many roads. There's not too many people living on the coast. It's just kind of bush and crocodiles, sharks, all sorts of things that can eat you. So that's I suppose he's been preparing for this for a while, and I think we're talking about that cage that he was going to put into his canoe. I hope he's actually got it working so that if a croc does get in on top of the canoe, it won't hit him. That's pretty worrying.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants a croc. So it's going to be it's going to be a tough bit, this one, especially if he's low in energy, but he's got the survival skills, he knows what he's doing, he's got all the safety gear, he's got the emergency gear if he needs it. So, I'm sure it'll be challenging, but I'm sure it'll be a really good adventure for him as well.
I noticed a couple of things that happened to Mike already. A few issues with his canoe.
So when he set off, I think a few days later, he had an issue with his rudder. So really the equipment now is going through a lot of testing and it's being used, and the rudder split. So he had to come ashore to, I believe, an island or something and try and find a bit of driftwood. I don't know whether he reshaped it or put it together. I haven't seen, so we're really out of contact. But yeah, apparently he had to spend a bit of time fixing his rudder.
Hey Mike, when you come back and you see this video, good job. We hope you make it back with your canoe. Catch you later. Bye.